فخلف من بعدهم خلف أضاعوا الصلاة واتبعوا الشهوات فسوف يلقون غيا. بارك الله لي ولكم في القرآن العظيم ونفعني وإياكم بالآيات والذكر الحكيم. أستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المؤمنين واستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. رب يسر ولا تعسر وتمم بالخير وبك نستعين يا فتاح يا فتاح يا فتاح. صدق الله العظيم وصدق رسوله النبي الكريم الأمين. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah, it's a great blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He has given me and you the ability and tawfiq to participate in this gathering, and we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make this gathering a source of guidance for all of us, and we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make this gathering one of the means of our entry into Jannah. The ayah that I want to share with you that I started last night is an ayah in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about a generation which is a loser generation, which is a very disappointing generation. And what makes them so loser, what makes them so disappointing, what makes them so useless. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions the crime of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions the list of their crimes. And the first crime that they did is that أضاعوا الصلاة, they wasted their salah. And like I've explained yesterday, wasting salah means that they were performing their salah. Allah is not talking about the Muslims who don't perform their salah. Allah is talking about the Muslims who perform their salah, but at the same time they are wasting their salah. They are not taking any benefit out of their salah. And before we understand what does it mean, what does it mean that we waste our salah? We are performing our salah, so how come we can waste our salah? Before we understand this, what we need to understand is that why we need salah in our life. Why we need to pray 5 times a day. Why we need religion in our life. Because we are living in times where we are highly skeptical of religion for all practical reasons, including myself. Yes, when it comes to worshipping Allah, when it comes to coming to the masjid, reading Taraweeh prayers, doing the zikr of Allah, ibadat, zikr, tilawat, all of these kind of stuff, alhamdulillah, we are up to the mark. But for all practical reasons, we don't believe in our religion. If we are really true to ourselves, if we are really honest to ourselves, if you go to a liquor store, and a Muslim brother is running that liquor store, and you ask that Muslim brother, "Bhai, why are you running that liquor store? What's the reason? Why are you running that store? It's haram in Islam. You can't do it." And the most obvious answer from that person, from that businessman is that that's how we do business in the West. That's how everyone is doing business in the West. But what about the laws of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Allah is most forgiving. Inshallah, Allah will forgive. Allah will understand. So for all practical reasons, we don't need religion in our lives. That's what we believe. We don't need religion. Why do we need religion? We don't need religion. So first we need to understand why we need religion in our life. And then inshallah we will understand how we waste our salah. Like I just told you before, that inshallah I will try to summarize this modern thought or the weakness in this modern thought in 4 different ways. So let's start from the first thing. First of all, what we need to understand is that in pre-modern society, whether they are Muslims or Hindus, but in pre-modern societies, they used to place God at the center of the society. So whether it was a Hindu society or a Christian society or a Jewish society, all of these societies, they used to place God or some kind of higher power at the center of their society. And the people who understood that higher power, the people who worshipped that higher power, the people who studied that higher power, they were the most important people in that society. For example, in a Hindu society, the most religious people are called Pandits, right? They are the most religious people. So these people in the pre-modern society, these people, they used to be the elite of the society. In Islamic society, Imams are the most religious people. They study religion, right? So they used to be the leader of the society. They used to be the most noble, most respectable people of the society. In Christian society, in a Catholic society, the people who studied Catholicism, they were the most respected people in pre-modern society, right? So in pre-modern society, the most important thing was to study God. That was the most important thing, number 1. The first emphasis in the pre-modern society was on the study of God, number 1. Number 2, the second most important thing in the pre-modern society was to study afterlife. There was a focus on afterlife. And it was not just limited to Islam. Every religion talked about afterlife. So whether it was karma or reincarnation or heaven or hell, whatever it was, there was a constant focus on afterlife, right? And is it true in Islam as well? Everything that we do, the benefits of that thing, the consequences of that thing, we will see where?
Afterlife.
In the afterlife. So it's true in Islam as well. So after the study of God, the most important study was the study of afterlife. Number 2. Number 3. After God and afterlife, there was a focus on how to better yourself spiritually. In English, we call it saving the soul. And every religion has something to say about saving the soul. For example, in Christianity, you talk about saving the soul. Buddhists talk about saving the soul. In Islam, we talk about tazkiyatun nafs. There are diseases of heart, and how can you cleanse your heart? And how can you cleanse your soul? What is this emphasis? This is an emphasis that there is a part of my body which is not the physical part of my body. It's a spiritual entity, and it needs to be taken care of. So there were 3 emphases in the pre-modern society. Number 1,
Study of God.
Number 1, God.
God.
Number 2,
Afterlife.
afterlife. And number 3,
Spiritual cleansing.
soul. And as a result of these 3 emphases, what actually happened, inshallah, I will talk about it later. But what happened is that, let me tell you what happened in the post-modern society. What happened in the modern society? After the European Revolution leads to different kind of philosophies. Because philosophy was outlawed in Europe, in Western, before the European Revolution. You were not allowed to make any kind of philosophy. Philosophy was outlawed in Europe and in Western countries before the European Revolution. After the European Revolution, against the authority of church, there was an explosion of philosophies. There were different kind of philosophies. There were different kind of isms. But all of these kinds of philosophies and all of these kinds of isms, at the end of the day, they had some things in common. What were those things? What was the first thing that the pre-modern society used to emphasize?
God.
God, the study of God, right? So modern society said, the people of the modern society said, that we have been studying God for years. Throughout the history we have been studying God. What has it given to us? What has it produced for us? An oppressive regime? We couldn't even live our life properly? Studying God does not produce anything for us. It doesn't make this world a better place. So now we have the opportunity to study science, to study universe. Let's develop physics, chemistry. Those of the people who studied God. The industrial revolution that came in these countries, it came into these countries because people started studying what?
Science.
Universe. So they said we had been studying God throughout the history and nothing happened. But now we have started studying universe. We have started studying science, and look what is happening now. Fantastic results. So much development. So it doesn't matter if you believe in God or not. It's your choice. You want to believe in God? Go ahead and believe in God. But the most important thing is to study a universe. That's the most important thing. So now there is a shift in focus. Now the emphasis is not on God. The emphasis is on what? Universe and science. And this shift that happened as a result of European Revolution, it was so powerful that even till today, if you decide to study something that is immaterial, for example, if you decide to leave architecture and you decide to do major in history, what your parents are going to say to you? They're going to tell you, what are you doing? You need to get a real job. Because in today's world, the most prestigious jobs, the most prestigious positions are the people that hold position in the fields of science, right or wrong? Right or wrong? So there was this overwhelming shift. And was this shift only in Europe? No. Or only in America? No. It's a global phenomenon. So it was a cultural shift. The emphasis was shifted on the study of universe instead of study of God, number one. Number two, what was the second thing that the pre-modern society used to emphasize?
Afterlife.
Afterlife, right? We have been studying about heaven and hell for such a long time. What has it done for us? What? You know what we need to do? We need to figure out how to make this life, how to make this society, how to make this country, how to make this city, how to make this land a better place. So let's advance our study of urban development and sociology and architecture and philosophy and even psychology. Let's study all of these things. And let's make this life better. Forget about afterlife. Let's make this life better. And by the way, when they emphasized on it, were they able to make any kind of development? Was the Western civilization able to make any kind of development? Absolutely. Advanced political structure, advanced infrastructure that humanity has ever seen. The fact that I'm using this mic and you all can hear me. The fact that there is a camera here, there are cameras in your hand, and you can make a video, and then you can watch it on YouTube. It's because of scientific discoveries, right? It's because people discovered scientific discoveries. The fact that you take a motorway, the fact that you use all this road system. You know, people come from Pakistan and say, hey, they say, aapki sadkein bahut saaf hai. They say, your roads are very clean. You know, why people love to come to UK? Why people love to go to Europe? Why? What's the reason? Especially from the Muslim world. Because in the Muslim world, like we used to park our camels and cows back in the day, it's same how we park our cars nowadays. Like this. Especially if it's a Friday occasion. And we are coming for Friday prayers. And you know, back in the days, camels used to move freely. There were no brakes on them. That's how we drive our car. Freely. Let it go. No worries. But people, they were amazed by the infrastructure developed by these Western countries. They were amazed. So there was a shift in focus. Now the emphasis is on this life instead of afterlife. What was the third thing that pre-society used to emphasize on?
Spiritual.
Soul. Did you ever see a soul? Did you ever see a soul? How do you even know that there is a soul in your body? And if there is a soul in our body, what do we have to do about that soul? We can't even see that soul. We can't even control that soul. So why do we even worry about that soul? Let's talk about human body. Let's talk about medicine. You know, let's talk about physiology, numerology. You know, forget about soul. This body, this human body, the physical part of this human body, it's a universe in itself. It's so fascinating. Fascinating. So let's make breakthroughs, discoveries in the field of medicine, in the field of surgery. Let's do more and more research in this area. Forget about spirituality. Forget about it. Let's replace spirituality with psychology. So if there is a problem in your body, if there is a problem in your soul, don't worry. There is a chemical imbalance in your body. And you come to us and we will fix it for you. We will give you a pill and then you will not try to kill yourself. So replace spirituality with psychology. So now the world that used to emphasize on God, on afterlife, on soul, now there is a shift in emphasis. Now they are emphasizing on what? On universe instead of God. They are emphasizing on this life instead of
afterlife.
They are emphasizing on this body instead of
soul.
So someone comes and asks you, brother, why do you want to study religion? I was asked this question. In Pakistan. So many times. I'm not even talking about this country. In Pakistan. Brother, why do you want to study religion? Yeah, I think it's better for my akhirah. It's better for my afterlife. What about this life, yaar? Study something that will get you a good job. How can you get a good job if you become an alim? If you become a Maulvi? You know, you're doing a wuzu and someone, subhanallah. The first question I was asked in this masjid when I started serving an imam, a brother came up to me and it was an innocent question. But I'm just trying to tell you the mentality that we people have nowadays. After Jummah prayers, I was standing over there and a brother came up to me and he said, why do we have to make wuzu? Why do we have to make wuzu? And I told him that we have to make wuzu because it's a means of purification. Innal hasanati yuzhibnas sayyi'at. It's a means of purification. That's why we have to do wuzu. What do you mean it's a means of purification? Use a soap. Use a soap and you will be pure. Why do you have to do wuzu to become pure? So it's just an example to let ourselves know that all of us, how we think about ourselves and how we think about the world around us. We are only thinking about ourselves and we are only thinking about the world around us in a very materialistic sense. In a very, very materialistic sense. Now, why did I bring it up? What's the reason? Why did I bring it up? So finally I can conclude that topic. But I cannot conclude this topic tonight. I've already taken a lot of time, inshallah. So if your brothers can try and make effort to come tomorrow, inshallah.
You leave us with these questions? You leave us with these questions? No answers?
No, I will try to give you answers, inshallah. So inshallah, tomorrow I will try to conclude, not to conclude, but at least to conclude that topic, inshallah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us understanding.